Twitch chat can be one of the most toxic places on the whole planet. Whether it be the endless calls of suicide baiters, racist emotes, demoralizing digs, or any of the other 100 awful things they've come up with over the years, chat can always do something to make you regret getting out of bed in the morning. But sometimes, viewers with an axe to grind can't be content with negative words. Sometimes, they take it upon themselves to violate a streamer's personal life, sending armed men and women to invade their home, strip them of their sense of safety, and put them at risk of bodily injury or worse, all for the sake of a laugh.
I had police point a gun at my little brothers because of you. They could have been shot.
Swatting has always been an issue of tense discussion in gaming circles, but over time, it has spiked in both intensity.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
There's one in the corner.
Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back, do it now!
And frequency against top streamers. Streamers like XQC and his housemates, who recently have been put through a string of swattings so intense that it has driven him back to his home country of Canada.
We were getting raided by the police station at rates that made absolutely no sense. Almost every day, the police came to our house with a full squad because of, idiots. Okay, and I was generally scared that I was going to die. And then it didn't make sense to me, and I got so scared I just said I just want to go home.
For so long, I can't even tell you guys for how long. It's like, I have been swatted, right? And I'll just never tell you.
So today, we're looking at Twitch's most dangerous prank and long-standing problem, swatting. Swatting is the act of deceiving police into thinking that there's an active threat at a particular address, with the goal of baiting them into dispatching a heavily armed force to that location. This harassment tactic has been used against high-profile personalities of all kinds.
This is a new kind of prank called swatting, essentially sending a special weapons and tactics team to an unsuspecting person's doorstep. In this case, the doorstep happened to belong to Hollywood's highest paid actor on television, Ashton Kutcher.
This was the scene outside pop superstar Miley Cyrus's North Hollywood home just last night. The LAPD, along with fire and rescue squad members, had raced to the location after receiving a report of a possible home invasion.
A 911 call, a man waving a gun near Justin Bieber's LA home. Police helicopters and cruisers dispatched immediately. But that call was a hoax, the latest in a rash of so-called swatting. Bogus 911 calls for crimes so potentially dangerous they trigger a SWAT team response.
But it's been a persistent problem with live streamers in particular, literally since the formation of the medium. Justin Kan, the founder of both Justin TV and Twitch, was famously swatted during his first marathon live stream, the marathon that gave birth to live streaming as we know it.
San Francisco Police! Who's here? Somebody get stabbed in the chest in here?
No. Shit. Alright.
Who called?
No, I did not call. Shit. It's probably someone spoofing.
Although it was handled calmly and competently, the incident shook Khan and Justin TV co-founder Kyle Vaught. Years later, they discussed how the experience almost led to the end of Twitch before it even existed.
So the TLDR, they kicked in a fan, an overzealous fan calls in a stabbing in our apartment. They kick in the door because it's like slightly ajar. By the way, always close your door, then they have to knock. And then they have their guns drawn and you're like sitting there 2 feet away when they have a gun, loaded Glock pointed at your head, which was very off-putting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Really not great.
They did actually
really love
knock,
that.
and they said SF Police open up, and it sounded like Matt Brzezina, our friend, and I thought he was just like playing a joke on us. So I open up the door, kind of swing it open fast, like you would to like greet a friend, and there's literally a gun like drawn, pointed at my face. That like shook me up for hours. I was like visibly, physically shaking like the rest of that night. That was intense.
But while live streaming would continue, so too would instances of swatting. With each passing year, more and more reports of swatting have come in, and as they grow in notoriety and coverage, they also increase in frequency.
Дамы и господа, мы ждем.
Despite how aggressive and tense these situations can be, for the most part, these interactions end without physical injury. But the mental toll, anxiety, and stress surrounding a swatting and its aftermath can be overwhelming to the victim.
I had police point a gun at my little brothers because of you. They could have been shot.
The issue of swatting came to a head in 2017 with the introduction of Twitch's IRL section and the rise of one of its biggest and most controversial stars, Paul Ice Poseidon Danino.
Oh my god, dude.
Bro, what the f are these?
They're not used. Is there a shit stain? Is that a shit stain? Never mind. I saw a shit stain.
Dude. Actually, no,
they're new. They're definitely new.
This is a scam. They are not used.
IRL streaming inherently brings less privacy when it comes to the streamer's location. Many travel around the public, visiting restaurants, well-known areas, and other identifiable landmarks. Whereas potential swatters previously needed to work for a streamer's address, IRL streamers made their job infinitely easier.
Cops are looking at us. Let's find out. We are having electronics. Us? Okay. Alright, you want me to just keep going this way? Yeah, I'm good. Get up his back. Alright, well. We'll just leave it there? You leave it there, you might have a problem. Hey, Vay. Alright, well. Alright, maybe we are gonna have guns pointed at us. That's not good.
When you combine this with the juvenile and downright toxic viewer base of Ice Poseidon, you have a real recipe for disaster. While many streamers get swatted repeatedly, often off stream and unacknowledged publicly,
for so long, I can't even tell you guys for how long. It's like, I have been swatted, right? And I'll just never tell you. It'll happen on stream, I'll walk away for 5 minutes, come back, nothing, right? Just move on with our day. And it's like so stupid. I think it keeps happening because people think like it doesn't happen. Like, oh, I've never seen someone get swatted. I'll do that, dude. I'll do that, dude. I'll do that, dude. And everybody else, every small wiener motherfucker has the same stupid idea. You know what I mean?
When it comes to on-camera incidents, no one can challenge Ice Poseidon. At his peak, Ice was swatted every day for a month.
Everybody okay here?
Yeah.
Have you threatened to shoot somebody today?
No. No.
Has he threatened to hurt you or anything?
Well, if you turn around, put your hands behind your head.
Okay.
Turn around.
Oh, can I put this down?
Hands behind your head.
Here, put the camera away. Put that somewhere else. They just literally have guns pointed at us, and he cocked a shotgun. What the f, bro? Oh god.
Step out.
It was so common that it became a meme in and of itself, encouraging and emboldening swatters to escalate further. This culminated in one of the largest and most widely reported incidents of streamer swatting.
On the tarmac, as an American Airlines flight is grounded for a bomb threat, and passengers had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, in an ABC 15 exclusive, the guy taking off the flight at Sky Harbor says he was the victim of a prank bomb threat against that plane. American Flight 583 from Los Angeles to Phoenix sat on the tarmac last night as police searched the plane.
In April of 2017, a viewer called in a bomb threat at Phoenix, Arizona's Sky Harbor Airport, claiming to be Danino. This resulted in a grounding of the entire flight. Ice Poseidon and his girlfriend were removed by police before the hoax was discovered. This incident brought on mainstream media attention as well as a response from Ice Poseidon himself.
Don't you pit that shit on me. Okay, so if I'm showing where the fuck I am on live stream, then it's completely fine to SWAT a fucking plane? You're delusional. You're fucking delusional. And you're a dipshit as well.
Even though Ice Poseidon was the victim here, Twitch leveled a permanent ban against the streamer, which still stands to this day. Although this punishment most definitely wasn't just, Ice Poseidon's stream had clearly become the hotspot for toxic viewers, looking to cause some trouble. And for this, at least, Ice Poseidon would eventually apologize.
I'm making this video as my apology to Twitch in the hopes that somebody will listen. 3 years ago, I was banned on Twitch for enabling a very toxic community. And a toxic community that has affected the industry, myself, my friends, and other creators as a whole. And for that, I'm sorry.
While no one had yet been seriously injured in a swatting incident, at the rate it was increasing, it was only a matter of time.
If you look at all the different SWATs that have happened, sometimes these guys show up with 5 or 10 units with AK-47s. They're throwing people to the ground, they're trying to keep everybody safe, including themselves, but they are definitely showing up with a full force to be reckoned with. And what's really frustrating about all of this is it used to be a really rare occurrence, now it's happening more and more often. It seems just like every couple of weeks we'll see about a brand new swatting episode making the front page of the internet news. And this isn't some sort of childish prank like making a prank phone call or knocking on your door and running. This is the kind of thing that gets people killed.
On December 28, 2017, the event that everyone had feared finally occurred. 2 Call of Duty players got into an argument over a $1.50 bet, and this seemingly small issue resulted in one player swatting the other. Unknown to the swatter in question, his target had provided an outdated address. Andrew Finch, the current resident of that previous address, had no idea that the police outside his home were under the impression that he was a deranged gunman with hostages inside. As Finch began to exit the house, he was tragically shot and killed.
Tonight, the man behind this prank 911 call,
I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
Sentenced today to 20 years behind bars after pleading guilty for a swatting prank that turned deadly.
While the perpetrators of this particular swatting disaster were caught, tried, and convicted, it's worth noting that the vast majority responsible for swatting cases are not. And while the tragedy of Andrew Finch stands as a grim reminder of the deadly potential of swatting, it has done nothing to curb the alarming increase in occurrences.
So that was my local police department. Somebody tried swatting me, and the police call me, and now I go to the door and say, everything is fine, and you just risked 10 years in prison for that?
So if the risk of unintended death, the potential for prison time, and the general ire of the entire internet can't dissuade these trolls, what can be done to prevent further loss? The unfortunate truth is very little. The main reason is the ease of anonymity on the internet. Through the use of VPNs, proxy servers, VoIP numbers, and encryptions, it's fairly easy to avoid being tracked. Law enforcement can get around this eventually, but the time and resources required make it infeasible in all but the worst cases. Cases like the serial swatter known as Obnoxious. Obnoxious is one of the most infamous swatters in history, but in 2014, he took it upon himself to call in a copycat swatting attack against a family in Johns Creek, Georgia, who had been targeted by an unrelated swatter just a week earlier. These calls happening back to back prompted an in-depth investigation by the Johns Creek police. Despite being given carte blanche to find those responsible, the year-long investigation required over 1,000 man-hours, numerous subpoenas, cooperation with other police departments in the home cities of the swatters, and even the FBI. But even with that incredible diligence, Obnoxious wouldn't be brought down until after he live-streamed himself swatting 2 more homes in Ohio. Obnoxious was arrested and pleaded guilty to 23 different charges, including extortion, public mischief, and criminal harassment. But after all the pain and suffering he caused, the thousands of hours and dollars tracking him down, and his shameless ownership of his actions, Obnoxious was sentenced to a mere 16 months in juvenile detention. While some police forces like those in Seattle are trying to be more proactive about the swatting problem, the burden of protection at this time falls to the individual, and the only reliable defense seems to be VPNs, which can hide your real IP address through the use of proxy servers. But advice like this does nothing to protect well-known public individuals like XQC, whose name and general location is common knowledge.
We were getting raided by the police station at rates that made absolutely no sense. Almost every day, the police came to our house with a full squad because of, idiots, okay? And I was generally scared that I was going to die. And then it didn't make sense to me, and I got so scared I just said I just want to go home. I want to go back to Canada.
At the end of the day, swatting will continue to be a plague for the foreseeable future. Until police are better equipped to identify, screen, and track hoax calls, streamers will continue to fall victim to the worst kind of internet troll. And it may only be a matter of time before another tragedy shakes the gaming world.